ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री गौनिताय की जय, श्री श्रीला देव की जय। Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today evening to celebrate Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's disappearance day. Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Thakur is the spiritual master of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and he is also known as Simha Guru or Lion Guru because he was very fierce in his teachings. He was very bold in his preaching, and he never compromised in preaching the real message of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is a very, very exalted Vaishnava Acharya who revolutionized the Bhakti tradition in many, many ways. So today, his disappearance day, that it means he left from this physical world, according to Tithi. And it is very important to understand and glorify and hear about these glorious Acharyas, because simply by hearing about their lives, actually we get purified. We get inspiration. We get transformed. Sometimes we read philosophy, we read Bhagavad Gita, we read Srimad Bhagavatam, but sometimes the real examples who are very next to us, in the sense very contemporary, can influence us even more further. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's life is very, very exemplary, very, very exemplary. So, by mercy of Prabhupada, maybe we can speak some of them today, and I hope that will leave you inspired to hear more and read more about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So, we'll start with the prayers, the pranama mantras for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So, you can repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. Can you call Palni Mataji? And tell her to put the curtain. She's here. So, this pranam mantra says, Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. So, the great Acharyas, their only shelter is the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj personally demonstrates in his life that, in fact, whenever he says, like usually when we ask, what are you doing tomorrow? We would say, oh, I'm going here, I'm doing this. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj would say, Krishna willing, I will go there. Krishna willing, I would do this. So basically, always depending upon the will of the Lord. not doing anything or not hoping that one can do anything without the sanction of the Lord. Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayataya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhava Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayita Dasa, another name of Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and deliverer of the science of Krishna. So one of the qualities of an Acharya, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, is that Ek Krishna Tattva Veta Sai Hoya Guru. Sai Hoya Guru. So basically, one who knows the science of Krishna, one who can give the science of Krishna is actually a Guru. Not by rubber stamping, not by some number of followers, one can become Guru. One can become Guru when he knows the science of Krishna and who can deliver that science of Krishna. And Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj is an expert in giving Krishna Sambandha Vijnana, in giving the knowledge about Krishna Sambandha, the relationship with Krishna. And he is Kripabdhe, he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Actually, without mercy, the knowledge of the spiritual world cannot come into us. Actually, this material world is a place of darkness. No one can understand spiritual truth. No one can understand who am I, what is my true nature, what is my true goal of life, who is the Supreme Lord. So anything which is transcendental knowledge, knowledge beyond one's senses, cannot be obtained in this material world except through the mercy of the Supreme Lord or through his pure devotees. And Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj was filled with transcendental mercy. And because of whom, so many centers were opened. He opened 64 Gaudiya Maths. Imagine, he was born somewhere 1874, and he left this world in 1936. So that is during the peak of British time. So one can imagine how limited was the transportation, how limited was the communication, how difficult it would be to construct something. Like today, it is so easy to construct something. You can get vehicles, you can get cement, you can get everything. But at that time, to go from one place to another place to establish something, in that time when India was not independent, he established 64 Gaudiya Maths, 64 temples across India, Chennai, Jagannath Puri, Mayapur, Kolkata, even perhaps in Mysore. And then he also sent his disciples to London and Berlin, and also in Myanmar, Bangladesh. So one can imagine how that is possible and how much mercy he must carry so as to spread this message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through these many centers. Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Shakti Karuna Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namasute. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who delivered devotional service which is enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Srila Rupa Goswami. One of the important things about Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj and his father Bhaktivinoda Thakur is that until the period of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually after Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advented, his next immediate disciples, the 6 Goswamis, they really spread Krishna consciousness in Vrindavan and the region of Bengal. But in due course of time, the real Gaudiya Vaishnavism started to be lost in some ways. The so-called children of some of the Goswamis and so on and so forth, they started to occupy the position of claiming that we are the rightful owners or authorities in this line of parampara, and we will not allow anyone else to occupy that position. And gradually, they started to please some of them, the materialistic people, the karma kanda, to satisfy them with what they want, rather than giving this Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida. Actually, Gaudiya Vaishnavism is giving the opportunity for people to have devotional service which is enriched with the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami. So actually, the Gaudiya Vaishnavism is trying to give the highest opportunity or highest perfection of devotional service to experience the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. That is the highest devotional perfection one can obtain. And that, instead of delivering that, some of them started to satisfy people for some other reasons. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he dispelled all the apasiddhantas. Starting from his father was also wrote so many books to help people disregard the apasiddhantas, those deviant traditions that people were propagating. And therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is so important. He ensured that people who are cheating in the name of Gaudiya Vaishnavism or in the name of Vedic tradition, he would oppose them very fiercely. And therefore, he is known as Simha Guru or Lion Guru. He was very fierce. In fact, the Mayavadis, if they see him on the street, they will turn back and run away because he wouldn't leave them. He was very, very fierce. So, Namaste Gauravani Shri Murte Dina Tarine Rupanuga Viruddha Pasiddhanta Dvanta Harine. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement which is against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So he would be very, very strict. If anyone gave some philosophy which is against the true philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism as enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami, he would be very, very strong with them. Because the acharyas want to give the pure message of the Lord. They do not want to please the public. Generally, people want to please the public and get some followers or get something. But these pure devotees, acharyas, they do not expect anything in return. They want to give the purest of the pure for the true benefit of the soul, not for any gain in this material world. And therefore, to look at their lives helps us to understand how to practice devotional service in real life and actually to get inspired how to actually practice devotional life. As we have a shortage of time, I will not go over the details of the appearance and disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj completely, but I thought I'll just share a few pastimes, incidents from his life, which are very instructive. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is a great scholar. He wrote so many books, so many articles. He ran a newspaper every day in Bengali. He ran a magazine called The Harmonist and a newspaper called Nadia Prakash, which was published every day. And he was the one who took up this idea of printing press to be very important. Because his father gave importance to publish books and write books, and he made Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as an editor. And he would be very careful in making sure everything is proper or not proper. And then he also realized the importance of printing books, and therefore he establishes many printing presses. And there are wonderful qualities of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. He was an exceptional scholar. His writings are extraordinary. And one of the writings that we have is Brahma Samhita, that is actually translated by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. So it's a very, very, his English is very, very elevated. I mean, it's very difficult to understand, very high standards. His argumentation, his ability to convey the message of Chaitanya's philosophy was something phenomenal. He could argue with anyone and present the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so wonderfully. And I'll just discuss a few pastimes of it. One of this pastime is he actually met so many important people. He met some of the important personalities of British administration, kings of Mysore, kings of Tripura, university heads, Subhash Chandra Bose, great freedom fighter. And there are various conversations that took place between Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and these famous personalities. And it's very instructive that how he dealt with each of them. And it's also very instructive to see his first meeting with Srila Prabhupada. All of them are very, very instructive. So we'll try to quickly go over some of them. So this is his meeting with Madan Mohan Malviya. He was the Vice Chancellor of Banaras Hindu University at that point of time. So he came to Gaudiya Math and he had a lot of intricate questions, philosophical questions. So he comes to Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj to ask him. But Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj says, I won't answer you, but you should ask the devotees who are washing the Arati paraphernalia. So he comes to ask and he says, no, you go there and ask them. Then Madan Mohan Malviya says, no, these are very intricate questions. These are very philosophical questions. How will they answer? So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj still says, no, I insist you go and ask the pujaris who are cleaning the deity paraphernalia. And Madan Mohan Malviya was slightly submissive, so he took the instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and he goes there and he joins them. So he goes there and says, well, you're all washing the Aarti plate. I have a few questions, can you please answer? They say, no, let us clean first and then we will discuss about the questions. So they make him also join. So when he started cleaning, all of them, and after that, he does not ask any question to them. He directly goes to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj asked, did you get the answer to your questions? Madan Mohan Malviya replied, yes, even without discussion. When I was helping clean the Aarti paraphernalia, the answers automatically came in my mind. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj replies, yes, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness can be understood by a service attitude, not by any amount of intellectualism. Sevan mukhehi jivado. So, Atha Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grayam indre. Sevan mukhehi jivado. Sevan mukhe. Only by the service attitude, one can realize the truth, the spiritual truth. Not by any amount of intellectualism, not by any other means. Therefore, the service attitude is the prime necessity to understand and realize Krishna consciousness, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So, just by reading books and reciting shlokas, that won't help you. Serving God will give us all answers to the questions in the Shastras. My Guru, Gaur Kishore Das Mamaji Maharaj, was not literate, not a Pandit, but all the shlokas and Siddhantas came to his mouth because he was Sevan Mukha, inclined to serve Krishna. So the service attitude is very, very important. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is just demonstrating that by, teaching this to Madan Mohan Malviya. We would be eager sometimes to talk a lot of philosophy, but what is real philosophy? Real philosophy is to do devotional service in service attitude. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj is practically training Madan Mohan Malviya and making him realize. Actually, this importance of association of devotees one can see in the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, that even if one comes for a moment of time in touch with a pure devotee, it is so powerful. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. Sarva Siddhi hoy. Just by coming in touch with a sadhu, in the association of a saintly person for few seconds, few minutes. Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. Even for a moment of time. Just see, Madan Mohan Malviya just came for a moment of time in association and he got transformed. Similarly, there's conversation with Subhash Chandra Bose. I'm not sure if we will have enough time. We will see if we can go there. And then another important pastime when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was very young boy, maybe a few years, 2-3 years, or something, maybe very young. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur kept some mangoes to offer to the Lord. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, at that point of time, Bimal Prasad Datta, he just took that mango which was supposed to be offered to the Lord. And when he took, his father reprimanded him. Oh, this is meant for the Lord, why did you take? And since then, he never took a mango in his entire life. He took a vow that I will never eat a mango. And he never ate a mango. So this is an acharya. to demonstrate how strictly to follow the principles. He never ate mango. And in fact, his disciples also would never eat mango. And there's an interesting pastime which happened when Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj and his disciples were traveling in a train from Calcutta to Puri. They had a bag of mangoes. But because Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj would never eat mango, his disciples also did not eat mangoes. But these mangoes were getting rotten because no one is eating. And they were going in this train. At the same time, there was a Mayavadi who was preaching impersonalism. And he was saying, everything is God, there's no difference. Everything is same, there's no difference. So then, so this devotees were also thinking, what to do with these mangoes? The mangoes are spoiling. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati ordered them that feed this sadhu rotten mangoes. And saying, if it is all one, there is no difference between rotten mangoes and ripe mangoes, let him eat this. So after eating 4 of the rotten mangoes, the impersonalist sadhu fell at Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's feet, swearing that he would never preach monistic philosophy again. So you see how by practical demonstration, everything is one, that's what the other person is preaching, and then he said, okay, eat this rotten mango. After eating 4, he says, no, I don't want to eat anymore. And he gives up the entire preaching of the monistic philosophy. Actually, this is the association. The association of a pure devotee is very, very powerful. Actually, it's very, very rare to come in contact with a pure devotee of the Lord. Simply that moment of association is the fortune of coming in contact with the pure devotee is just that greatness, that fortune is unlimited actually. We may not know immediately, but that's extraordinary. And similarly, he demonstrated various wonderful qualities, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. At Mayapur, there used to be a cook, and he usually fought with every devotee except Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And people did not really like him, and one day he passes away. And there was a funeral ceremony for that cook. And then some of the brahmacharis were talking about how much trouble that person has created. And each was telling story about the fights he had with him. And suddenly Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj appeared at that place, and he says, he always washed his dhoti nicely and was very clean. From that point of time, no one said anything about him again. Actually, the vision of a pure devotee is something else. He can see everything, both good and bad, and can appreciate what is good. When we are covered with material contamination, we pay attention to only certain things. But we can see here how by one statement he washed his dhoti nicely and was very clean. You see how a pure devotee sees things. Very, very exemplary in his way. And another time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was giving a lecture on detachment. And he was saying that one should be detached of everything. And it seems later he was writing with his ink and pen and something. And then he saw a monkey came and was trying to snatch away some bananas from the kitchen. So he immediately ran to make sure that the bananas are not stolen by the monkey. And so what happens is that the monkey somehow runs away and leaves the bananas there. But then the devotee who was seeing, the cook who was seeing, he was surprised. He said, just now you gave a wonderful lecture saying that one should be detached of everything, and now he ran in such a rush that the ink spilled there, and he went to save 2 bananas. And this cook wondered, why are you doing this? And then he says, these bananas belong to Srimati Radharani because they are to be used in Krishna's kitchen. So, what is real detachment? You see, detachment means not to have anything for oneself. But for Krishna's sake, one would ensure that it is not lost. So, this looking at the life of the pure devotees of the Lord helps us to see how to implement the real philosophy in day-to-day activities. Otherwise, we can be bewildered. It is very difficult to understand Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakta. Very difficult to understand Vedic philosophy, how to apply in day-to-day life. We can be caught up with so many misunderstandings because we have our own projections, our own concoctions, our own speculations that we add onto the layers of philosophy. And therefore, we cannot see it clearly. We cannot see it how to apply. But simply by looking at the lives of these great devotees, actually things become very, very clear for us to appreciate, how wonderful, or how nice it is to apply and how to learn to apply the philosophy in day-to-day life. I'll just end with one simple last pastime. There are wonderful quotes of Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj, and one of the quotes is that when faults in others misguide or delude, one should have patience, introspect, and not find fault in others, and know that others cannot harm you unless you harm yourself. So he demonstrated very, very nice things, and I'll end with this one pastime. On one occasion, the devotees set up a new preaching center in Bengal, and they worked day and night to equip a beautiful temple. And they invited Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj to install the deities, and he was very pleased. And then when he came there, he asked for a brahmachari who had worked very hard in preparing the temple. His disciples said to him, "Teacher, he entangled himself with a woman. We scolded him so much for his behavior that he ran away from here." So then Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj says, "I do not want to establish a preaching center here. I do not want to install the deities. Hundreds of gallons of blood are invested in this world to free a person from the clutches of Maya. If that person makes a mistake, he will be eradicated." There's some mistakes here. "The sins will be eradicated by serving Hari, Guru, and Vaishnavas. But you have punished him, and now he is gone. I don't want to make a center here. Find him and bring him back, otherwise I would leave." So they thought they did something wonderful, but he's saying, "No, until you don't bring him, I'll not open the center." The very distressed disciples went in search of the brahmachari, Madhav Maharaj, who was then called Harigriva Brahmachari, found the wandering brahmachari, apologized and asked him to return. The brahmachari wept, saying, "Oh, I was serving here in a surveillance company, but I wasn't really happy. I wanted to go back, but I was thinking, how can I show my face? So I didn't come back." He immediately went running and crying before Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Prabhupada, deeming him more merciful than Krishna himself, and all his anadas were eradicated in a moment. Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Prabhupada said to his disciples, "The meaning is that we should not criticize anyone, be it a devotee or a worldly person." Then he quoted a shloka. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "One must not praise or criticize the conditioned nature and activities of other people. Rather, we have to see this world simply as the combination of material nature and the souls that enjoy, all based on the absolute truth. Whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behavior of other people is quickly diverted from his own interest due to the entanglement of illusory duality." Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati continued, "Bringing a person out of the clutches of Maya is very, very difficult. If lust or any other accessory is present in the heart of that person, it will disappear soon, very soon, if he is singing and remembering and listening to Harikatha. Be very careful. Do not criticize the devotees or the non-devotees. Take a look at your own condition first and try to purify yourself. Do you have lust? Is there kutinati, cheating, in you? Or no? Worry about it. Don't focus on others. Sri Guru and Krishna are responsible for others." So in this way, Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj is demonstrating wonderful qualities of how he was so much, he never criticized, but at the same time he criticized wrong philosophies. So there are details to it, when to criticize, when not to criticize, but he was very caring to his disciples. He would actually go in the midnight and see whether his disciples are taking rest properly or not, if the mosquito nets are kept or not. If not, he would personally keep the mosquito net to make sure that they are taken care, and so on and so forth. So there's much to be spoken about Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj, but the idea is to understand that simply by hearing the glorious activities of pure devotees of the Lord, we will be very much inspired to take up this devotional process more sincerely and seriously. And let us all pray today on his divine disappearance day that he may bless us all to serve Srila Prabhupada with more sincerity. And thank you all for joining. Srila Bhaktisiddantha Saraswati Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna.